The year just started. It just started. Okay, the last video I posted was about Maduro's arrest and what Trump lied about. We have video, we have proof that Trump promised his voters that he would not get involved in foreign affairs. Well, Trump supporters hopped in the comment section really quick to say that's what they voted for, and some even called me an idiot. So now we have another issue on our hands. An ICE agent shot and killed an American citizen named Renee Nicole Good. I am not surprised by what happened because these things happen to black folks. What I am really surprised is the victim is a white woman. Ooh, we're going to get it now. Now, I did not write and post an opinion right away because I wanted to do my research and wait for enough information to be released. But based on the videos I saw, they don't explain why ICE agents were on that particular residential street. The victim gave an ICE agent driving a car the right of way. Then she tried to drive away from the ICE agents who were on foot. One of those agents shot her 3 times. There was a doctor on the scene asking an ICE agent if he can check her pulse. The ICE agent replied no, so the doctor on the scene was not allowed to give her first aid. Not a nurse, not a paramedic. He identified himself as a physician. Kristi Noem called the victim a domestic terrorist, and the agent acted in self-defense. But the videos released yesterday show Renee Good telling the agent she is not mad at ICE. But Trump agreed with Kristi Noem. Vance also agreed with her. So now I want to know how Trump supporters are going to explain this. Do Trump supporters agree that Renee Good is a domestic terrorist when the videos say otherwise? When lawyers hopped on social media over the past 3 days stating that ICE was wrong? When law enforcement officers, retired experts hopped on social media stating that the agent was wrong, issuing the victim 3 times? I am not even going by what I saw in the video. I am going by what I am hearing and reading from lawyers and law enforcement experts. Now, I don't believe in name calling. I don't believe in being nasty on social media. I believe we don't have enough kindness on social media, and because I choose kindness and sometimes I choose to be silent, I am aware that is why I am not popular on social media in comparison to other content creators. But I also have to come to the conclusion that we have to face reality and tell the truth. The question we have to ask ourselves is, what is intelligence? And how do you determine who is intelligent? Intelligent people do not let other people think for them. Intelligent people have critical thinking skills. Intelligent people know what they know and what they don't know. And whatever it is that they don't know, they ask the right questions to the right people. So yes, I can watch the videos and say, well, the agent murdered Renee Good, but I want to know, what does the law have to say about this? I want to know what other people in law enforcement have to say about this. When a lawyer explained on X, Twitter, that the agent was wrong and cited which section of the law that applies, Trump supporters questioned whether or not the person went to law school or if the person is even smart. But then Trump critics can say the same thing about J.D. Vance. Did he really go to Yale Law School? Is he smart? I have come to the conclusion that the worst pandemic right now in this country is stupidity. The stupidity is out of control. When it comes to Renee Good, words matter. Most people are upset with what Minneapolis mayor said on TV. Whatever he said out of anger. Most people, including myself, tend to curse when we are angry. But Trump does not understand that as president, he needs to practice some kind of diplomacy. And you got Trumpsters who say, I like his honesty, but it reminds me of what a wise woman said in one of her songs. You call me up again just to break me like a promise, so casually cruel in the name of being honest. End quote. Last but not least, Americans as a whole, we have to ask ourselves, what kind of country do we want to live in? And what is it that we truly value? Because not only is the world watching, and I think a lot of Americans don't care that the world is watching, but the generation coming up is watching. How are we going to explain to Renee's children what happened and why?
Christy Nome, she keeps claiming that this was a tactical situation. J.D. Vance calls it a tactical situation. Well, listen, I deployed to Iraq and Afghanistan, and I wouldn't find myself in a tactically dangerous situation with my cell phone out. I would have my eyes and ears, my head on a swivel. I would have my gear ready, whatever I need. In this case, I would have my weapon, whatever. But he gets out with his cell phone. Number two, he placed himself in front of the vehicle and he already drew his weapon. He drew his weapon on her, which is why when she drove off, he was able to fire so quickly. He drew his weapon on her as a way to threaten her into compliance. I looked up, if you go to dhs.gov, you can look up their use of force policy. You are not allowed to use your weapon to force compliance of someone in a vehicle or a moving vehicle. All right. If there's no other threat present. So in other words, if she doesn't have another weapon, if she had a weapon, it would change the whole scenario. She was unarmed. There was no other threat present.